Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have Steve Tchuente with us. Steve has been accepted to the HEC and Yale dual program. I would actually rather he explain the program later on. So hi Steve, could you first introduce us and all my audience to yourself?
Yeah, hello Karishma, and thanks for having me first. So I'm Steve Tchuente. I'm originally from Cameroon, Central Africa, and I'm currently pursuing my MBA degree at HEC Paris with a dual degree with Yale School of Management, a degree called Master in Advanced Management. So overall, it is a 16-month program that I'm doing between HEC Paris and Yale. So I had the first 8 months at HEC, and since already 1 month and a half, I'm having my classes at Yale School of Management in New Haven in the US, Connecticut. So before doing my MBA, I've been working for 6 years as a technology strategy consultant, mainly in France and in Canada. And globally, my main goal was to advise CIO and CTOs, so various multinational corporations, in how to drive performance, innovation, and change within the organizations.
All right. So you worked for 6 years prior to this. So why did you suddenly, I don't think it's a sudden decision, but why did you decide to do an MBA and this particular program?
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, the reason why I decided to go for an MBA is because I wanted to see a little bit more than what just get into the CIO or the CTO's ecosystem. I have been evolving in a very tech-centric environment, and the majority of the topic I've been working on were related to sourcing strategy and technology. And I really wanted to see more and being much more close as well to all the other problematics of topics that the other C executives were having. So having a much more deep exposure to the C-suite, but also to not only technological issue, but also thing linked, for example, to growth strategy, to sustainability, to how a company can actually grow in the different segment in which it's already implemented, but also in the other market. So those are the kind of topic I was really interested in. So that's why an MBA appears to me as the best way to achieve that in a very short timeline. Why I decided to go to HEC, I think different reasons, and specifically why HEC with that dual degree of year. First of all, because HEC is one of the leading schools in Europe. So it was really like one of the top candidates, one of the top schools I was targeting for sure. And the second thing is having pursued actually my studies mainly in Cameroon and France. I really wanted to finish my MBA with a dual degree from one of the top leading schools in Europe, but also have an experience in the US. And HEC was the only school that actually provide us 8-month program in HEC and 8-month program at Yale with at the end a dual degree. So that's the reason why for me it was just a perfect mix in terms of MBA school.
Yeah, actually, you've got the best schools in both the continents. I mean, I don't think there's anything better than this.
The top leading school for all the two continents. So yes, definitely great exposure, to be honest.
So, so you've started your classes at Yale, right?
Yes.
So how has the experience been so far?
Oh, so far I would say it has been really good. Considering the COVID situation, I think Yale has been doing an amazing job in actually putting in place a hybrid mode that has been working well so far. So we are having right now, for instance, 40% of my classes are online and 60% are in person in the campus. So I really have a good exposure to various to people coming from very different backgrounds, to also amazing professors who are really bringing a lot of value in my studies. And at the same time, experiencing the schools in the US, because the first time for me to actually study in the US. So I think all of that is part of the MBA experience, and so far it has been great.
Okay. So, like, since you've worked for 6 years before doing an MBA, what would you think youngsters would require? Like, there are many young people who really want to do an MBA, but they do not have experience. Especially when we talk about India, we don't even have the internship culture as of now. So what would you suggest to them? Like, in general, what should they focus on during their studies so that they can also get into such good programs?
Yeah, I think I'll probably answer that by saying something quite general about the MBAs, but also more specifically about what the top business schools are looking for. They are really looking for candidates who have witnessed strong leadership skills in the past, and students who are really willing actually to position themselves on a path of success and impact around them. So, and I think there are different ways for you to actually showcase such traits. You don't necessarily need to actually to have been working for 6 years. I've seen incredible people who actually just had maybe 1 or 2 years of internship, but actually they had been doing so many things on the side as extracurricular activities in which they had actually very impactful effect on the people around them or in the society in which they were living. So I would say there are definitely different ways to actually showcase those skills to the top business schools. So having, for example, 5 years, 6 years, or 10 years experience is definitely not the only way to show that. And also the last thing I would say maybe is that each school has its requirement in terms of experience, in terms of number of years of experience, of work experience, but also, for instance, a given level of pre-MBA exposure to different situations. So I really also think strategically about which school each candidate should be targeting based on what he or she will be bringing in terms of profile and how he or she personality will be actually suiting or kind of fitting with the school being targeted. So yeah, that's probably what I would say in order to all the people who are willing to go for the MBA journey.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that. That would actually
You're
be
welcome.
helpful if when people hear it. So now, coming to your what do you call the application process? You worked with
Mm-hmm.
Resur La GMAT, right?
Yes.
So how was your experience with them?
it
Because GMAT
was
is tough.
it was challenging as for probably I would say 99.9% of all the GMAT applicant. It was a challenging experience, but also it was a really rewarding one, I would say, because I learned a lot from that experience. And I think that's something we grow from,
Yeah.
because not only it's a learning journey, but also it kind of it kind of push you to develop the skills you will need all over your MBA journey, but mainly after your MBA journey. So it's challenging. It's challenging. It is very difficult to go through the GMAT at the same time, working on the project with like 15 European countries at the same time. I remember I was studying for my GMAT while traveling in consulting, so it was really challenging, to be honest. But
Yeah.
also at the same time, it was really a rewarding experience. So my only advice would be get in and get out. Try to take a given number of months and focus on your GMAT so that as soon as it's done, you can move to something else.
So since you said that you worked for your GMAT while you were working,
Mm.
so what would you call GMAT the most difficult part of the entire admission process, application process, or was there something else?
I would say the GMAT was the most difficult part because I'm quite good. I was quite good actually in analyzing my previous experience and trying. I'm really formalizing the key traits the different business school will be looking for in terms of leadership exposure, but also impact in the different environment I've been evolving in. So I would say the essay component was not that hard, to be honest, but it was much more challenging for me personally, and that's just my
Mhm.
personal experience was going to the gym at the same time working.
Yeah, all right. So how was your experience with Dr. Hubert Silly at MBA Center?
Oh, so I had a lot of fun working with Hubert. I call him Hubert.
Yeah,
Sorry. So
no
yeah,
problem.
I had a lot of fun working with him, and one thing is very sure. He has experience with what he knows what the top of the school are looking for, and he knows
Mm.
actually as well how to help a candidate to really show those traits and maybe highlight the personality, soft and hard skill that actually will be needed for the business school to actually say, yes, this is the person I want. So Ruben was definitely a huge resource in terms of coaching and in terms of preparation for the interviews and the different essays. So that's really something I recommend to everyone. The only thing I would say is an MBA journey, I mean, is still a personal journey. So you should always think about making it personal. You should always what you actually show about yourself and the lens through which you want the people to see your application and to see your personality should be really linked to what you want them to see as well. So that's the reason why I think it was really helpful as well to have those coaching conversations with Uber in order to understand more what I wanted to do post MBA and how I wanted the different institutions or different schools I was targeting to look at me as a candidate and really to help me to show that personality, what I was bringing around the table in my different application and through my interviews. And I think that's why he has been really helpful to kind of help me to frame that in the way that will be really impactful for them.
All right. Thank you. That was actually beautiful. The MBA journey is quite a personal journey, and I don't think I can ask you any question beyond this, I think. So thank you so much for your time. And
You're welcome, Karishma.
please let us know if we can do anything for you. And thank you.